Okay, the four tasks here we are going to manipulate the strings with. They are giving us the chance to call and execute specific methods one by one, and later on we'll concatenate that by just making them in one coherent program, no more or less. We'll understand the use of each, and based on that you'll understand what is the meaning of manipulating strings using C++ predefined methods. The first one is asking us to just utilize the strlen method, which is one of the very famous methods that we can refer to in order to return the size of a string using this predefined method strlen as it is pre-mentioned. This one differs from another method, which is actually to give the size of allocated spaces in memory, those things like that, size of objects. strlen and the size of we'll use we see the differences between this and that, and let's dig in. Here is actually an example. I'm going to try to explain something similar to this example only. I'm going to use an okay. To begin, actually, it is not actually this program did not specify exactly what to do, but let's just manipulate this strlen, the string length predefined method. Okay, we know that the IO stream is a method. Sorry, it's a library that defines the functionality of the in-out flow, the IO in-out stream. We can visualize that through the cout and the cin methods. So if I just change this one into a command, this cout here will be given us an output. Sorry, an output error. So it has to be defined. And this IO stream defines this cout work, so it works very fine. The same way, see, hello world. I'm going to give it. I'm going to leave it like it is. I'm going to just say cout hello world. But this hello world, I'm going to change it into a variable. I'm going to define a string. Let's say str. This str, I'm going to give it the initialization here, which is, let's say, this same hello. Let's say I'm going to use a different one. Fox. Okay. Single quotation. Okay. Hello, Fox. I'm going to say here the length of the str between double quotation is less than strlen, and between double quotation here str. Simple. So what did I do? I just here created a statement here. It's one statement only here. Let me minimize. It's one statement only, and in this statement here I made a concatenation of a string with a variable, then a string, then a variable, and end of line. The first variable here is a simple text. The second variable is a predefined method that executes a task, which is the measurement of the length, the number of characters that this str, which is this one, has. Let me execute. I have an output actually which is saying that was not declared. This strlen. What does it mean? This strlen, since it's a predefined method, it's a method. It has a parenthesis. No, it's a function or it's a procedure or something like that. It's a method. It has to have the definition. We know that whenever we declare a prototype at the beginning, we have to give the definition at the end. This predefined method, we did not give the prototype. Why? Because it is recognized by the compiler. The C++ compiler. This one is C++ compiler. Recognized, what does it mean? It has to be treated like we treat the cout. It is not through the IO stream, but it is through the, let's say, string library. Come on, string library. The string library. So it defines the role of this strlen. We see actually the string is something from the C programming language. It's not the C++, but let's see if it gives us a different error. Let's execute. Still, strlen was not declared still. What I'm going to do, simple. I'm going to just call a specific library because of the compiler only here. Our program is finished here. We did if you just refer to the Visual Studio, the updated version, maybe actually you will find a solution straightforward without any error messages here, any alerts. I'm going to call the string.h the header.h. It's a different library, no more no less. It's specific to this compiler. So we have a different variable, different errors now. It's not. He's not saying it's not declared. He's not saying that it's not declared anymore. But he's saying a different error. I don't know. What is this one here? See here, one single quotation str. Here is double quote, double less than. Yes, it was a typo problem. Execute again. Okay, still cannot convert std something. String basic to const char. String to const char. Okay, good. Line. Okay, I'm gonna make it simple here. Just I'm gonna change this one to char, and I'm gonna give it a size here. Let's say 50, something like that, and that's it. So okay, let me execute now. The length of hello fox is 12. The length of the, here it is, the length of the str, he's saying hello fox. What is it? This is the str. What is it? Is this str? Is this message in between double quotation here? Is, here it is, where the space is before and after. 12. What is this 12? It's the strlen of this one. Okay. Now I'm gonna just see what I'm gonna do also. I'm gonna declare a second variable here. I'm gonna say str2. Here I'm gonna say welcome to, let's say, the OP lab class. Lab, let's say live class. Something like that. str2. Okay. Now I'm gonna just also call this statement again. Come on. Here. The length of str, I'm going to say 2 is str2 in between her actually is the parameter of this strlen predefined method. Let's execute again and I'll explain what I did. The length of hello fox is still 12 and the length of the welcome to the OOP lab live class is 33. What did we do? Very simple. We did the same syntax, yeah, but calling different variables and using the same predefined method, the strlen, no more no less. So this way we are counting the number of characters, the number of characters. The first one is 12, the second one is 33, and so on. We are here the strlen is giving us the number of characters in let's say given phrase or something like that. So if I come back to the question, it will show the usage of the strlen. Clearly, we are just counting the number as per this example. He is saying 16 because of the phrase here. This is a phrase. This is a phrase. 16 characters, correct. Very easy. Let's pass to the second question, and based on that, we will make some comparison. strlen to the size of. The second task is asking us to make actually an output, create a program, a C++ program to display the size of different data types, which are the following here. Those are the totality of those data types. He needs us to display their sizes in memory. The size of those data types in memory. What we are required to do, what is the allocated space for an int? What is the allocated space for a short? The allocated space for a float, for a char, for a string, and for a long. Those are data types, predefined data types. Each requires a data, let's say a size in memory to initialize a variable. We will use a predefined method called sizeOf, not the strlen, to measure the size. And we need to display this measured size here. Let's dig in. I'm gonna call another compiler here. Come on. Great. So here, immediately using the IST only, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to declare an int a. I'm going to, as per the request data types, I'm going to copy them here all in order to be sure that I'm not missing anything here. Plus here, done. Short, let's say S, float F, char C, string. I'm going to say str here because I use the S. String, not string. Good. And long, I'm going to say L. Great. Done. I'm done with all. Okay. Okay. What we are required to do here to measure the size of each see out, the first one, without any delay, the size of A, I'm going to say here, of A, I'm going to say whatever, is. What is A? I'm going to say is. This is the A. Is less than, less than. I'm going to say size of, not SCLN, less than, and end of line. Okay, here. Okay, to avoid syntax errors only. The size of, say here, S is size of, I'm going to say S. What is the S? Is the short. Then size of F, I'm going to say F here. Size of, come on, F. Okay. The size of C is, I'm going to say here, C. The size of str is size of str. Size of L, actually it's not the best presentation. We will modify it, but let's see what we will get. Well, okay, great. So here, let me execute. The size of A is 4. The size of S is 2. The size of 4 and something like that. I'm going to gain spaces here, space, here, space, here, space, here, space, here, and here, just to make it more readable. So size of A is 4. Size of S is 2. F is 4. C is 1. STI is 32. L is 8. So great. So we wish to make the thing more coherent. But what is this A? I don't know. What is the unit of this 4? It's octet. I'm going to add another block here to say less than. I'm going to say bytes, space bytes, close quotation. Copy it. Paste, paste, paste. Here and here. Let's execute again. Great. So the size of A is 4 bytes. The size of S, 2 bytes. Size of F, 4 bytes. 1 byte. Here is only 1 byte. No, without S. Without S. Execute. 1 byte. Great. So here 32 bytes and here 8 bytes, the long. We are able to visualize the result very perfectly. Let's just to make you understand what does this size of do, let's just have a look to get an output using the strlen. I'm going to minimize a little bit the view. See what I'm going to do. Copy, paste, space a little bit, and paste. Here, strlen. I'm going to copy it. Paste, paste, paste. and here. So I'm getting the same thing, but using the strlen here, not the str size, not the size of, sorry. Execute and see errors, then errors, then errors, then errors. Strlen was not declared, he's saying, first of all. What is the solution here? The library. So this is the library we need. Is the string.h. Great. Let's execute again now. Okay. A into const char. What is the other? Here he's saying note const char. What is the variable size of initializing? This is the one. Yes. Int to something like that, const char star, whatever. He's not able to read those things here because we need to have a string in input. A string only. We may measure the C or the str. The others, they would make trouble. Even this one is not able to read because it's empty. This the S is not able to read. Yes, where is the S? Short, not the str, not the S. We need the str. The str. Yes, this is the one because it's empty for sure because it's actually it's an empty one. No more, no less. I'm gonna make the thing actually very coherent. So the A, I'm gonna give it a value. Let's say 2. Short S, I'm gonna give it 1 short because it's an int only. F, I'm gonna give it 1.2, something like that. C is a char. I'm gonna say A in between single quotation str. I'm gonna give it equal first. Equal. I'm gonna give it hello. Okay. Then long. I'm gonna give it again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a long number, no more or less. Execute. Still the same output. Even with initialized values, will not give us actually any output. This thing here. The strlen works with the library string to deal with strings only. It does not measure the size of memories at all. It does not do the role of measuring the size of memory only at all. I'm going to delete this A because it's an int. I do not need it. I'm going to delete this S because it's a short. I do not need it. The float also, I'm not going to measure. The C, I'm going to leave it. The str, I'm going to leave it. The L, the long, I do not need it. And let's see now what it would do. Still, I have an error, but let's check the errors because we normally, this is a char, this is a string, so it has to give us a result, not an error. Conversion char to const char. I'm going to change this str. Also, I'm going to avoid the use of the string. I'm going to declare actually a different one here. I'm going to say here str1 is a char, but it's a char of binary. str1. So here str1. Great. Let's measure now. Great. So still I have only one error now. It is conversion char to char star many. Argument 1. I believe it is talking about the C only. Yes, here it is. It's talking. It's clearly here mentioned. It is the C problem here. It is the one. So I'm going to convert this one into an array. Let's say whatever size 10, and let's execute now. Perfect. Still, he's saying that there's a problem in the A. The initialization. They must be initialized with a brace enclosed initializer. Okay, I'm gonna say double quotation. He said that I have to use the braces, means those curly braces. No, I'm gonna initialize differently. I'm gonna use the double quotation. Okay, it works very fine. So this is one of the utilization. I might be initialized this C using the single quotation, but with the braces. See, I'm gonna initialize differently here. Curly braces, single quotation, and after single quotation, and I close my curly brace here. That's it. It would be running also. Yes, it runs very fine here. So this is one of the initialization ways, or simply double quotation, and I close with a double quotation also. 2 ways of initialization. Great. So here, see, up to here, the size of bytes. But this is the size of C is I'm going to say using of C using size of. Okay, to make it different here in the output node. Yes, here those are the two last statements. The size of C using size of is 1 byte. The size of str using size of is 5 bytes. Never to be. Actually, he's counting the number of str1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are 5 absolutely. He is 1. It is counting the number of the characters allocated, no more or less. The size here, it is counting the size in memory. It is not calculating the number of characters. See, instead of writing hello, I'm going to say hello, fox, exclamation mark. It counts the number. It counts the number of characters. So we have 12 characters here in this location here. So the number here using the strlen, it is not using size of, using strlen here. And here also it's using strlen. This is strlen only, and this is strlen only. So it counts the number of characters only. But this is a size in memory. Size in memory, very easy. Size of bytes allocated in memory for a given variable. Let's pass to task number 3. To manipulate the use of the str cpy copy. Okay, let's create a new compile interface. Okay. Okay, I'm going to declare first variable. I'm going to say here str1. I'm going to say here is size 50, for example, equals welcome to our, let's say, OP lab class, semicolon. I'm going to declare SHA str2 the same size I'm giving here. Different syntax. I'm going to say welcome, for example, just simple one word only. Sorry. Okay, no need for this cout for now. I'm going to display cout. Show the str1 before str1 value, str1 message, let's say something like that, message, okay, less than str1. And end of line. The same thing for the str2. I'm going to do str2 message is str2, simple, execute. str message, welcome to our OP lab class. str2, welcome. Something like that. I'm going to change this welcome, for example, to hello. Hello, execute. str1, welcome to our OP lab class. Message is hello. Very easy. So, okay, let's call now this strcpy method. I'm going to say strcpy str1, sorry, str1 comma str2. It requires actually, it requires two parameters, and here they are. String copy str1 str2. I'm going to execute the same two statements here for output here now. str1 message is str1, str message 2 is str2. After this one here, let it be the str1 message, str2 message, and so on. So let's see the difference now. What would the str1 receive? I have actually an error first of all. What is it? The str1 was not declared. So the library, simple, is the library here, is the string library. But since we are using the online compiler, I'm going to respect that. I'm going to call the str.h, no more, no less. Execute. The str1 message, welcome. The str2 message, hello. The str1 message here, hello. I'm going to make it, actually, I'm going to just change this message here to make it a proof that it is this message here, not this message here. So I'm going to say the str message after, and here before. Yes, before. So let's execute. The str1 message before, welcome to our OP. The str1 message after, hello. So now we know that for sure this str1 content has been changed to hello. From where this hello is coming? From this str2. The copy has been happening here. It happened. So now we're able to see that this str is CPY copy in action, and it copied the second parameter content into the first parameter content. So the first parameter is a declared variable, which is a char that has initially this phrase made up of, let's say, 32 or 33 characters. Now it has only 6 characters, including the termination, 5 characters, including the without the termination. Hello. The termination is the \0. Simple. Let's pass to the next task. Number 4, create a program that shows actually the usage of the strcat. Here the concatenation. Great. Let's dig in and let's create another program. No specific activity, just to manipulate the usage of this strcat. The same way here, I'm going to declare, let me declare first, let's say, variable. I'm going to say str1. I'm going to give it the size here, for example, any size here, 20, for example, here is enough. Equal. I'm initializing it with double quotations, not single quotation, with double quotation. I'm going to say here, let's say hello. I'm going to say different message, good morning. Great. Okay, great. I'm going to create a second string, whatever. I'm going to say str2. I'm going to give it, for example, the same size. Maybe no need. No, there is no specificity. Just I'm taking a space for memory usage, no more, no less. Hi Sam. No, it's a greeting message. Hi Sam, something like that. Okay, see out. Less than. str1 is less than str1 less than and end of line. Okay, the same thing here. Copy paste. It's 2, and here also it's 2 again. Okay, let me execute first of all. str1 is good morning. str2 is hi Sam. Very good. I'm going to manipulate those two strings using the strcat. Same thing here. This strcat, it has to receive 2 parameters. I'm going to say str1, comma str2. And we see the same result, the same here. What would be the result of this str cat. Now I'm going to say str1, str2, str1, str2. See the here and see here. Let's see the execution now. Still, we have an error not declared. So the same thing here. The library, which is the string, and straightforward, I'm going to call the string.h. Okay, there's a dot problem. Where? Yeah, here it is. Syntactical error. Okay. str1 is good morning. str2, hi Sam. str1 again. str1 again is good morning, hi Sam. Concatenated. And here, hi Sam only str2. The str1 now, it is displaying two messages, the good morning and the hi Sam. I'm going to say here before and here after. I say here str1 after is str1 before. I'm going to say is str1 before is good morning. str1 after is good morning, hi Sam. It's the str1 only here, but the content is two messages. The content is two messages. Concatenation. It happened. What happened? The content of the second parameter here, which is the str2, has been added to the first parameter content. Means the first parameter content has been incremented and it has received the second parameter content. It did not actually delete the content, the original content. No, the original remained there, plus the second parameter content. Simple. And here is the output. Let's move to the next task very quickly. Yeah, so the manipulation of those four actually is it's just the same solution here. I'm going to move to the next task immediately just to gain time. And this is an example, no more, no less. So here in this task, we are required to manipulate the structures, which is a new object, completely new objects is the topic of the chapter number 4 in our courses, in our syllabus. Let me just discuss a little bit, and I'll make you understand what does mean a structure. The object is structure. We are required to manipulate a program that creates a structure to define the addresses of the list of students. What does it mean? What does it mean? Let's create a new interface, and based on that, new compiler, and let's solve the problem. Here, I'm going to say, for example, the following: the address of the student, let's say, is, comma, what is it? What is the address? I'm going to say here, cout city is Nizwa. End of line. Address, sorry, let's say road, for example. Another cout. I have to write. Another cout, another cout, another cout. I'm going to say here, road is, let's say, whatever, 1212, whatever, any number, 102. Let's say here, postal code is 616, for example. PO box, let's say box is, let's say, 33, for example, something like that. This for the student number 1. Okay, we need for the second student, for the third student, for the fourth student, all the details, we need them. And also, I'm going to say here, ID is, I'm going to say here from 1 to 9 or from 1 to 8, it's enough. Mobile number, maybe we can do that. So for every student, we need all those details here. What should we do? One of the solutions is simple, like I did now for the student number 1. I have to do it for the second student. then the third student, then for the fourth student. As per our section, we have 29 students. We would have actually generate 29 blocks like that, which is really a mess. It's not the best way how to do it. Completely, it's not. Completely, it's not. I'm going to leave this one here, and I come back later on to fix it. Before the main, in the area where we declare prototypes, here, I'm going to declare something called struct. And I give it the name. Here, I'm going to give it, since the question is asking us to create a address, I'm going to create a struct, and I'm going to terminate it here. See, I given a semicolon here to terminate it. Why I said struct? Because the question has asked us to create structure. And why it's address? Because the structure is to manipulate the student's address, like the question, what the question is asking us to do. So I'll give it the name here. The name here is user defined. I may say ADR, something like that. But to make it clear, I wrote the full name here. It's a user defined. It's not technical. This is a technical approach. Struct, it's a keyword. You change, if you write it fully structure, no erroneous. Even the color is not colored. This is not a technical word. We have to use the keyword struct, simple, like that. We are defining a structure, name the struct. What is the content of this struct? It is what we need to define the object. The object is address. We need, let's say, city. We need, for example, road, as I mentioned earlier, coastal postal code, PC, PO box, POB, let's say, ID. We may say mobile, for example. All of those, they are components of an address. What is the city? It's a char, but it has the size of, let's say, 10 characters. What is the road? Still, it's a char, but it's the size of, let's say, also 10 or something like that. It's a number. If it's a number like I did earlier, road, so I'm going to keep it like that, and I'm going to change it to an int. Simple. Postal code, also it's an int. PO box, also it's an int. ID, still it's an int only. Mobile, it's an int only. Semicolon, 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 semicolon. How I decided here to give this one char and int and int and int, how I decided, it's based on the content only. For example, the road, it's a mixture. A road is a mixture of alphanumerical content. For example, the road we say, road Abdulaziz number 123. So it's a mixture of alphanumerical content, numbers and characters. So we have to give a char or a string as a data type. And I'm going to use a char here to make it more coherent. It's just a matter of what is the data to write in the variable. So we specify. There is no secret. There is no secret. There is no hidden definition. What would this variable receive as data type? So we define the data type here, no more, no less. I finished. The structure has been defined here. I have to terminate with a semicolon. It's in the area of the prototypes. It's before the main. Inside the main, I do not need all of this mess here. Completely no. I do not need any mess like that. I need to create an object from this address. I want to copy the name here, write it here, paste it, and I'm going to say here, for example, stda, student address, or std adr. std adr. It's just one name, user defined as again, as if I am writing a address, which is the structure. I'm going to say a. It's enough. Very simple. The a here, which is a representative of this address, would help me to reach the city, the road, the postal code, the PO box, the ID, all of them I can access using this A only. How? See what I'm going to say. See out, less than, let's say the student, std1, let's say city is less than a, this a, dot city, this city. I'm going to copy. Copy, paste, less than, end of line. Great. Okay. Let me execute before I continue. Let me execute because remember, what is the content of the city? So far, it's empty. Nothing is there. I'm going to execute. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. No errors, but nothing is there. Before this statement here, I'm going to initialize this city by saying, see, enter here. I'm going to say a dot city equals, between double quotation, let's say Nizwa. Semicolon. Let's execute. There's a problem. There's a problem. I'm going to give it actually the following. So city, I'm going to say here, assignment of const char 6 to char 10. Okay. Let me use the second way here. I'm going to say single quotation, 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 single quotation. See how I'm doing the thing actually, and the commas also, the location of all the positionings, and here curly brace terminate. Let me execute now again. Still, I have a problem. Assignment to an array from an initializer list. Let me make it the easy way. Well, with its size, we said 10. Let it be 10 also. From constant char. Am I missing something here? I know it's a constant char only. This is the one constant char to a char. It would not go, I know, but even though, to understand what this compiler is intended to give us, constant too long, I know. The specificity of the compiler only, the error is not error completely here. It has to be initialized very clearly. City char, I said, if of 10, yes, and here it is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me execute and see the error again. Incompatible types. Let's char to char 10. Number city. Do I have to change the compiler now? It has to work. It has to work. It works very fine, I know. Just to demonstrate the thing, no more, no less. Characters constant too long for its type. Let's say here, and execute. Okay, the SCD1 city is n. The SCD1, here to avoid the problem of this compiler, just keep it with one letter only. The SCD1 city is a.city. The SCD1, let's say, road is a dot this road here. Copy. Again, we did not initialize. Let's execute. We see it's not initialized here. Let's say at nothing is there. Nothing is there. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna say a dot road. A dot road equals 102, something like that. Execute. 102 is not a compatible data type. I'm gonna avoid this mess here. Give it an int since it's a number. STD1 road is 102. Very good. The postal code, the same thing here. I'm gonna declare everything here. A dot EC equal 616. Semicolon. A dot POB postal PO box means POB equals, let's say, 33. A.ID A.ID equals from 1 to 8 is enough. And the last A.mobile equals 999. Simple. Here I'm going to just say copy paste. Here, first of all, let's say PC, then POB, postal box, and then after the ID, I believe, yes, and last mobile. PC, yes, A.POB and A.ID, the same ID, the same spelling. It's in capital here. It's in capital. So I write it in capital, the same. In capital also here. Then the last mobile, like it is in small only. Execute. Yes, it works very fine. This is the ID and this is the mobile. Postal code, PO box, and so on. So very fine. Yes, we did it. So this way we can initialize and declare an object of address to every student, and then have to bring the output later on. So if I change those values here, automatically those output will be changed. I'm going to give you the record and just right after.